Hello, yogis from my cabin. Julie and I built a cabin up by Trapper Creek, and it is, I don't even know what it is, April something, 25th or something like that. And we're here at the cabin. It's about 45 degrees, and we just skied in, and everything's really nice here at the cabin, so I thought I'd do a little, film a little yoga video. Hopefully you can hear me. The wind's blowing a little bit, but I'm on my back deck, my south deck, sitting here in the sun, and everything's cool. So, hope you guys are being safe at home and isolating. Can't get much more isolating than this. There's nobody within, I don't know how much of us, at least a half mile or more, but who knows who's out there but their own cabin. But anyway, we're here, and I'm just gonna do this. It's gonna be a fairly short video, maybe 20-30 minutes, a little yoga sequence, and I'm just gonna do it standing up. So it's gonna be a standing yoga sequence today, and we're gonna start in Tadasana. So on your mat or on your floor or on your carpet or wherever you like, just stand with your feet about hip width apart, with your toes directly forward. Just relax. Now check your breathing. Check your breath. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to deepen your breath. I just want you to be conscious. Just be aware of what your breath is like right now. Now, on the next inhale, deepen the inhale. And at the top of the inhale, pause for a count of 2. And then have a nice long, slow exhale. So inhale. Feel that belly. Hold. And then exhale, nice and slow. All the way. Let all the air out. The belly comes in. Chest comes in. Diaphragm goes up into the chest. Inhale. Diaphragm comes down into the belly. Pushes the belly out. Inhale all the way up from the bottom of your chest, all the way up. Your lungs go clear up by your collarbone. Clear up past your collarbone. So inhale all the way up and just fill the lungs all the way to the very tip top. And then slow exhale. Just follow your own rhythm. The hold at the top or bottom of your breath, that's called a kumbhaka. And that's where the magic tends to happen, is at that hold. So Julie just said, what magic? I don't know what magic, but there's been a lot of things that I've heard, listened to, watched, and read that it's the whole of the top and bottom of the breath is where a lot of things happen or can happen in your body, in your mind, in your nervous system. So we'll just keep this deep yogic breath going through our play here today. Now we're going to transition to the Ujjayi breath. So still long inhale, long exhale, and you can do the Ujjayi breath on both the inhale and exhale. It's easier on the exhale, and it's where you constrict your throat a little bit, and it forces a little higher pressure in your lungs as you exhale. It's an energizing, a heating, warming type of breath. And you'll hear noise within your own body, probably not from anybody else doing this, but from your own body you can usually hear a noise. So big inhale. constrict your throat. It's almost like you're growling, but you're not growling. It's just a constriction in your throat as you exhale. When you get better at this, you can also do the do the Ujjayi breath, the constriction on the inhale. So this Ujjayi breath, again, it's a breath that is energizing. I was told once by a yoga instructor that 20 minutes of Ujjayi breath is equivalent to 2 hours of aerobic exercise. So, you know, if you can't get out and do your run or your bike, do some Ujjayi breath. Maybe it'll help. Builds up the lung capacity. So now we'll start doing some asanas, some poses. So we're going to stand in Tadasana, engage your feet directly forward, heels and your feet directly below your hips, equal weight on the ball of your foot as the heel of your foot. And now pay attention to, from the outside to the inside of your foot, where is the weight? And we want equal weight on both the outside and the inside. We want your arches to be lifted. So if you tend to have fallen arches or you tend to pronate, feet going in, and your knees come in, then you're weighting the inside of your arches. See if you can't think about your arches coming up and getting big arches. Put some weight on the outside of your feet. Nothing wrong with just putting a little more weight on the outside of your feet. Now, engage your thighs, engage your glutes. That puts the hips in a neutral position, so they're not forward or not backward. Engage. Now, bring the lower ribs down just a little bit until you feel your abdominals engaged just about 10%. And then your shoulders up and back and down. Check your abdominals. And then your chin parallel with the floor and back. Your head back toward your back body just a little bit. So now that should stack all your bones over your feet, over your heels. That's Tadasana. So we'll bring our arms up overhead. Big stretch upward, lateral bend. Both my knees are straight on this one. Come up, lateral bend the other direction as my arms hit my solar panel. Come up, bring your arms just in goalpost formation, goddess pose, and we're going to do a twist. You can twist one way and hold that. So now you're twisting with your transverse abdominis. So we're going to do a little abdominal work. Hold that twist. Inhale, and then on an exhale, let that go and twist around to the other side. Keep your lower ribs down so where you're engaging your abdominal muscles. And come back into center. Then clasp your fingers in front of you and push your hands out. Raise your hands up. Now, a little bit of a back bend here. Engage your abs and stretch back. And then come back. And then arms come out. And then come in. Fold your arms in eagle pose. One way. I've got my right arm on top. Just pay attention to which is your arm. My right arm's on top, my left's down. And then fold forward a little bit, just from your shoulders, not from your hips. Keep your hips steady. So just fold forward at your shoulders. So only your upper back is rounding forward. And then come up, clasp your hands one finger over, push them out in front of you. Come up, a little bit of a back bend, engage your abs when you do this. And now arms come down and they come the other way. Now my left arm's on top, my right arm's on bottom, eagle arms, and I'm going to come down again. So we're just opening up the shoulders. and then come up, and then we're just going to shake that out. And then interlace your fingers, and we're just going to do the wave. Just loosen up the wrists, the fingers, the shoulders. Now go the other way. Good. And then shake that out. Now, stand Tadasana. Now, shoulders come up by the ears, and then back and down. Up by the ears, back and down. One more time. This way, back and down. Now, just relax. Check your Tadasana. Now, shoulders go back, up, forward, and down. Just reverse that. Back, up, forward, and down. Back, up, forward, and down. One more time. Okay, release that. Now we're going to do a little work with the neck. So now, just tip your head to one side, and whatever side that's on, take that arm out to the side and reach those fingertips out toward the ground below you. Put both arms out like you're flying. Stretch this neck right here, but open up your chest at the same time. In fact, you can kind of gaze up toward the sky, up toward the ceiling, up toward the sun. Just open up that chest, and then bring your arms down, bring your head back in the center. Shake that out. Now, your neck over to the other side, tip your head to the other side, arms out to the side. When your arms go to the side, at least for me, it helps to remind me to open up my chest. Maybe you look up toward the sun, or where you think the sun might be in your case. And then come down, and then shake it out. And then just shake. Just move around, shake everything, especially your occipital bone right here in the back of your head. Get it shaking. Just like a dog shaking first thing in the morning. Get it shaking. Okay, now we're going to do a balance pose. So come to Tadasana again. I don't know if you can see my feet, probably not. But come into your Tadasana. Engage your thighs, your glutes, your hips, ribs, shoulders, Tadasana. Whereas you're going to come in a tree pose. The weight comes over onto the left leg, right leg comes up. You can bring it as high as you like and bring it up into your thigh or keep it on your calf, but just don't put it on your knee. Find a drishti. Maybe your arms come up, or maybe they just come into Anjali Mudra. Or you can keep your arms out to the side, hang on to the wall if you like. Oh, the wind's blowing me around a little bit. And keep this hip, the standing hip, be sure it's not poked clear out to the side. Bring it up into the center, up into midline, and think tall through the crown of your head. Like there's a string coming out the top of your head up toward to the sky, to the ceiling, that won't let you fall. You can sway, but you're not going to fall. And then arm comes out to the side. Now just move around freely, move around. Often I find it's easier to balance when you're moving than it is if you're trying to hold just a steady, but check it out yourself, see what you guys think. So now we're going to come into Tadasana again, to Tadasana. Think of a root coming out of your right leg now, deep into the ground. That's grounding. That's your anchor. That's what's going to support you. Engage your thigh, engage your glute. That's going to help to stabilize that balance. Left foot comes up. Maybe it stays right there on the ground with your toes on the floor. Maybe you come up a little bit. Bring this standing hip into midline. Maybe your hands come up overhead. Maybe they go just stay at heart center. Maybe they're out. Maybe they're hanging on to a balance point. That's fine. and big exhale. And then move that around. Let the wind just blow your limbs around. Whoa. And then bring that down, and then just shake it all out. Good. Okay, now we're going to do a warrior series, and I'm going to link a warrior series with a triangle pose, and we may bring that into a half moon. We'll see what happens. So we're going to stand there. We're going to do warrior 1 first, and I've got a post right behind me. So if you got a wall behind you, and if you don't have a wall, that's cool, but if you got a wall, put your heel of your back foot against a wall, and you have, for me, it's not too big a stance, because what I like to have the points of my hip, the top points of my hip. You put your fingers on them. I like to have both of them directly forward. If I have too big a stance like this, then my hips are out at an angle because I got too big a stance. So warrior 1, the hips square to the front, your Tadasana body from your hips up, arms come up. Maybe you do a little bit of a back bend. And then we're going to come forward, and we're going to straighten that front leg. We're going to come forward into Parsvottanasana, do a forward fold. So we're going to stretch our hamstring on the forward leg. The back leg is nice and energized. Keep that knee of the back leg nice and straight. Bend that forward leg again, come up, warrior 1. And we're going to come back down, straighten that front leg. Going to fly down into Parsvottanasana. Hands straight back like you're flying, like you're Superman. Bend that leg again, come up, warrior 1. And then hands to heart center. Then you can step forward, and we're going to switch feet. So that's warrior 1. Find my post, put my heel right against that post. If you got something that you can put your heel against, it gives you a little more grounding and a little more information about what your back foot's doing. So your back foot is also oriented almost straight forward, so it's not out to the side. If it's out to the side, that's going to be an external rotation of your thigh. You want it mostly forward. Again, fairly narrow stance, hip points directly forward. Inhale as arms come up. Maybe you engage your abdominal muscles, do a little bit of a back bend, and then straighten that forward leg, and come down into Parsvottanasana. Arms back, forward leg straight, hamstring working, back leg straight, anchored against the wall behind you. Bend that forward leg, come up. Again, warrior 1, maybe a little bit of back bend, and then straighten that forward leg, come down. Warrior 1, we're going to do this one more time. This forward leg comes up. And we're going to come down, and then we just come down and then shake that out. That's warrior 1. Okay, now warrior 2, I'm going to do this a little bit sideways. I don't know if you can see my feet or not, but you guys know how to do warrior 2. So we're going to come into a little wider stance. I'm going to line my front heel up with my back heel. So heels are aligned. My back foot is like at a 30-degree angle. Toes are a little bit more forward than the heel. I'm going to bend into my forward leg so that my knee is directly over my ankle. I come into warrior 2. Arms then come up. Arms are aligned with your feet, with your heels of your feet. Your torso is straight above your hips. Your hips are straight between your feet. Now think about weight. Put weight on the outside edge of your back foot. That's going to lift that back arch. And think about your front foot. Put a little weight on the toes, on the ball mound of your front foot. That's going to help open up your hip, on the front hip. So this is warrior 2. You can look out over the forward arm. The wind almost blew me over. And then we're going to exalt this warrior. So the back hand comes down either to your thigh or behind your back. Forward hand then comes up and you're looking up toward the sky. Your forward leg, your forward knee is still over your ankle. Your back leg is nice and straight, so your thigh and your back leg is engaged as well. Big inhale, big exhale. And we're going to come down into side angle pose. Side angle, you can rest your elbow on your knee, or you can have your forward arm, your downward arm straight, and your back arm should be aligned with a straight line between your foot, your hip, your shoulder, and your hand. I'm not sure I've got it, but that's the orientation. And then you can externally rotate your humerus to where your thumb's more toward the ceiling, your pinky is more toward the floor. And we're going to come back up into Warrior 2. Straighten that front foot, front leg, front knee. And we're going to come in a triangle pose. So with both legs straight now, I'm going to reach for the wall across from me. In this case, that big tree across the way. Come down. I don't have any blocks out here, so my forward hand comes onto my shin. My fingers come into the linea alba, which is a line between your navel and your sternum. It helps to rotate my torso, and I'm stacking in my case, with my left foot forward, I'm stacking my right shoulder on top of my left. Spread your fingers wide, let the energy flow while you take a big inhale and a big exhale. Keep the side bodies long. Bring your upper side body down and lengthen your lower side body. So maybe you can only come down this far. Only come down so far as you can keep the side bodies long. Bend that forward knee, come up, and come up out of your triangle. Good. Now we'll come to the other side. So reorient. In my case, this time my right foot is forward and my left foot is back. I'm lining up the heels of my forward foot with the back foot. Now think about the weight. Lift your arches and put some weight on the ball of your front foot to open up that front hip. Arms come out. We bend our front knee, forward knee, directly over your forward ankle. My gaze is over my forward hand. Warrior 2. And then bring your back hand behind, exalt that warrior, look up into the sky. Reach for your sky. Reach that hand up. And then we're going to come down into extend a side angle. Your hand can come on your knee, or you can extend that arm if you want, just to use your muscles in your torso to hold you up. And then think about a long line from your back foot right up through your shoulder and out that arm. Whoa. Leaves that balance as I look straight into the sun. And there's a dog. And then we're going to come back up into Warrior 2. Straighten my front leg. So both legs are straight now, both are engaged, and I reach across the wall in front of me. My fingers come into my linea alba just to encourage the twist. I'm not pulling anything, but that's something that Lydia taught me, is it just helps to think about turning that torso. Now think about both side bodies long. Bring that upper side body down, lengthen your lower side body. Think about weight on the outside edge of your back foot and the ball of your front foot, plus the outside edge of your front foot. Triangle. And then bend that forward leg, come back up into Warrior 2, and then step back out of that. Good. So let me see how many minutes we've been going. 24 minutes. I'm not sure how much battery I've got left. So now we're going to come into our peak pose today is going to be half moon pose. So half moon is, I'm going to have my left foot forward, my right foot back. I'm just going to do this sideways to you so that I'm lining up my heels again. arms come out, just like I'm fixing to go into triangle pose. I bend my forward leg, so now I'm into warrior two pose. And then I don't have a block. If you had a block or something to balance with, you could use that. I'm going to try not to fall off my deck and dive into that snow. And I'm just going to launch forward a little bit until my center of gravity comes over that forward leg. My upper hand comes onto my hip, and my lower hand comes down. I find a focal point on the floor to look at, and my back leg comes straight up and half moon pose. So my shoulders are stacking, and this takes some time. You can do this against the wall. Put your back up against the wall, and it's really nice to do that. So if you got something against the wall, you can do that. Your standing leg is nice and straight. Stack your shoulders, and then bend that forward leg and come up out of it. Good. So if you got something, like I got a post I could lean against, or the wall, it makes it really nice to work this pose and do this pose over and over, like 3 or 4 or 5 times, because there's so much involved with this pose. What are your feet doing? What are your hips doing? What are your shoulders doing? What's your neck doing? What's your head doing? What are your hands doing? You know, and not only that, but what's your breath doing? And most importantly, what is your mind doing? So as we do this, and Julia's already into her second side, and I'm going to now put my right foot forward. Let's see if I can do this without getting off camera. Right foot forward, bend that right foot, come up onto it. My hand comes onto my hip, find a focal point, stack those shoulders, engage that upper leg, make that upper leg nice and straight. Had to grab the post. And there's a half moon. Dorside flex that upper foot back toward your knee. Think of your breath, and then come down. Good. So that was our peak pose for today. Now, I'm just going to do got my heart beating there. Now, we'll just do a little bit of a cool down session here, and then we'll call her quits for today, and I'll post this on YouTube. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to stand here, and I'm going to stand on my left leg. I'm going to pick my right leg up, but I'm going to grab it with my left hand. So I'm grabbing crossbody behind me. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then Gaze comes out there in the snow. Maybe arm comes up. Nice balance pose. You can do this also against the wall. Now we'll switch to the other side. So in this case, my left foot comes up, but I reach behind with my right hand, and I grab crossbody. Think about your breath. Get long inhale, long exhale, and then bring that down. As you're fixing to fall down, you can bring it down, which is what I had to do. So now we're going to come in one more time to Tadasana. Arms up and overhead. We're going to do a side angle bend to the left, but this time bend whichever direction you're bending. Bend the knee of that, what I call the inside leg, and then let that hip really stick out. So now your weight is through a straight leg on the outside of your hip. And for me, that puts a lot more stretch right through the hip area. Hold that big inhale, big exhale. and then come up, and we'll do a side angle bend to the other way. Again, bend that inside knee. I don't know if you can see that. Bend that inside knee. The outside is straight. So whichever knee you bend in the side angle is going to change the effect of the pose. Try it sometime by yourself and bend the outside leg. And for me, that usually puts the stretch in my ribs. And one more, we're going to do a twist. So this time, arms straight out to the side. You're in Tadasana, feet directly below you. Engage your thighs, your glutes, ribs down, shoulders back, Tadasana. And then we just do a twist one way. And we come back in the center and we do a twist the other way. And we come back in the center and bring our hands into Anjali Mudra. Thanks for joining me today at my cabin, at our cabin on Denali Lake and Trapper Creek. May our thoughts be peaceful, may our words be peaceful, and may our heart be peaceful. Namaste.